From Ball State Unified Media, this is Newslink Indiana.
Welcome to Newslink Indiana. I'm Vanessa Brooks.
And I'm Rachel Russell. Thanks for joining us.
89 years of Muncie basketball history is at a possible crossroad, with the future of the Muncie Central Fieldhouse up in the air.
A tornado that tore through the roof 2 weeks ago, and Muncie Community Schools is still getting damage estimates. Newslink Indiana's Tony Sandlaben tells us how one Muncie Central alumnus hopes it will get fixed soon.
But it just upsets me that something would happen to the...
A common reaction to the damage to Muncie Central High School's historic field house. First built in 1928, it has hosted games and graduation ceremonies, among other things. After a rare tornado swept through Muncie, school officials still don't have an estimate of the damage, how long repairs may take. Possible.
I think the most famous game was when we played Anderson.
Diana Krause graduated from high school in the field house. She and her brothers all are alumni of Muncie Central. She says her brothers competed in athletic events there as well, but she could not get enough of the basketball games.
Out of the four brothers I have, I'm the only girl, so I'm the one that has to be the rowdy one. And
This area used to be where you could find the old McKinley Junior High School, where Krause and her siblings attended before they went to Muncie Central. Oftentimes they found themselves walking across this parking lot over to the old field house for things like gym class and also school dances.
remind me of my days in high school that I wish I was still in. So being the age I am, 61, so it's so many years. So
Krause says the first thing that pops in her mind when she thinks of Muncie is the field house. Muncie Mayor Dennis Tyler says repairing the building will likely take a collaborative effort.
Bearcats are pretty strong, and we'll figure out a way to come back from it.
The mayor's optimism is not unfounded. The field house is insured for $10 million. Until it gets fixed, Muncie Central's basketball team has moved its practices and games to Southside Middle School. But Krause says that gym simply does not compare.
it's totally different atmosphere, and just I don't think it'd be the same.
Other community organizations have offered to help fill the void the currently closed facility has left. Ball State University, for example, will be hosting this year's Christmas Sing event. But as for the historic landmark, the future is still uncertain. In Muncie, Tony Sandlaben, Newslink, Indiana.
Muncie Community Schools says it is still waiting on a final engineering report on the damage before giving a cost estimate. New leadership at the Boys and Girls Club of Muncie means new changes for the organization. Newslink Indiana's Samantha Johnson has the story.
It's been a little over a month since Jason Newman walked into this office for the first time. Newman is the newly named CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Muncie.
This club is what brings me to Muncie, Indiana.
Newman worked at the Boys and Girls Club of Philadelphia for 11 years and had offers at other clubs, but says he's excited to start his journey here in Indiana.
But when I met with the board of directors here and when I met with the staff here, the passion that they all had for our mission really is what brought me halfway across the country.
Newman has taken a proactive approach to leading the club, planning and making a few major changes in just 1 month.
Really, we want to make this more of a comfortable place.
A new weight room and cardio room is the first improvement.
You know, some of it's paid for by grants, but a lot of the elbow grease is done by volunteers, and then we'll be having the teams really help us get this room set up. So for $15 a year, they will have, you know, a full use gym, and all that we're asking for is that $15 a year and a little bit of sweat equity.
Followed by an update to an outdated classroom.
Right now it's a storage area, but we will be turning this into sort of a cafe and lounge.
And improvements to the game room, tech center, and gym.
When I was moving out here, you know, you go, okay, I'm moving to Indy. You know, you think of basketball.
All of these ideas came from the kids, and they will also contribute almost all the labor and planning. Newman hopes to teach principles like finance, teamwork, and maybe a few carpentry skills, while also giving the 200 kids that visit the club each day exactly what they want. Newman is proud to say the attendance numbers continue to improve, and he hopes to double that number by this time next year.
Kids are kids, and all they need is a shot.
To touch more young lives in our community. In Muncie, Samantha Johnson, Newslink, Indiana.
Anyone interested in volunteering with the Boys and Girls Club can visit their website at bgcmuncie.org.
Representative Luke Messer is running for Senate in Indiana, even though he lives in suburban Washington. This could complicate his plan to win the Republican primary and unseat Senator Joe Donnelly next year. Messer's rival, Representative Todd Rokita, has already began to make residency a campaign issue. Messer and his family sold their home in Indiana in 2014 and now stay in a 2-bedroom home that he co-owns with his mother. Embattled Senator L. Franken is getting support today. A group of women who worked for the Minnesota Senate are vouching for him. 8 former employees say Franken treated them with the utmost respect. Franken is accused of groping and kissing a woman without her consent at the 2006 USO tour. Los Angeles KABC radio hosted Lennon Tweed came forward saying he kissed her and took a picture of himself groping her chest while she was asleep. Franken apologizes, saying his actions were, quote, completely inappropriate.
And a soldier from Elkhart, Indiana, who went missing in action during the Korean War is finally getting a memorial service. Corporal Clyde Clifford was declared dead by the U.S. military in December of 1953, more than 3 years after he was reported missing. The memorial comes after his sister's dying wish for a service honoring her brother's life and service. Clifford's mother never arranged a funeral service because she held out the hope that he would return home. He will be honored Saturday with full military honors at Chapel Hill Memorial Garden in Osceola. And a Pennsylvania man who always joked that he wanted to take something to eat when he died has gotten his wish. Richard Lucy was buried with 2 cheesesteaks with Cheese Whiz but no onions. His grandson says that when the family asked what he wanted, he replied, "What do you think? Pat's cheesesteak without onion because they'll come back to haunt me." Lucy would often have his family members drive 2.5 hours to Philadelphia back to get his sandwiches. The 76-year-old died of heart complications, and his son, grandson, and 2 friends went the day before the funeral and picked up the 2 cheesesteaks for the coffin.
Black Friday shoppers can expect to see a new local bar. The Muncie Mall has a beer kiosk set to open tomorrow. The kiosk will have 4 hand-drafted beers. The grand opening will have $4 pints along with several giveaways. While Ball State isn't located in the tropics, it is home to one of the largest university collections in the country that you would normally expect to see in a rainforest. Chris Robinson is live at the Radin Orchard Greenhouse with the story.
I'm here among the country's largest collection of university orchids, where students have the opportunity to study and get a hands-on experience here at Ball State. With the babbling brook and chirping tropical birds, you would think you're in a rainforest. In reality, it's a greenhouse here in Muncie.
Well, hi, my name is Cheryl. I'm the curator at the Renard Orchid Greenhouse at Ball State University.
LeBlanc works with different colleges to help students get hands-on experience.
We offer this greenhouse for various biology or botany classes to come and actually see things and touch them and learn by doing. There's a lot of exploration that's available for them.
But that's not all they offer. They also grow edibles like bananas and coffee.
So this modest plant has actually created a tray of coffee beans for us here on the table. And we decided not to roast them because it wouldn't make a full cup of coffee, but instead it's a better teaching tool for us that way.
All of these exotic plants help students learn without having to travel off campus.
Actually, it ties in nicely with some of their lab and lecture sessions so that they can actually see what things look like and try to develop patterns within the plant world so they can make a more concrete understanding of the lesson.
The next event at the greenhouse will be their evening holiday open house on December 2nd. The greenhouse will also be decorated for the winter holidays and will be hosting a silent auction. Live in Muncie, Chris Robinson, Newslink, Indiana.
To learn more about the greenhouse, visit at bsu.edu/orchids. The weather right now is definitely far from rainforest conditions, but it is going to rain. Let's take a look at your NewsLink Indiana forecast. These are the conditions right now. It is currently 44 degrees with winds from the south-southeast at 11 miles per hour, and it feels a little bit like 38. It is going to be around 45 degrees at 1 p.m. and go up to 49 around 4 p.m., then cooling down around 7 at 47 degrees. Looking forward at our 7-day forecast, Saturday we have a 100% chance of rain with a warmer weather. Then moving on to Sunday, it will drop again to 37 degrees. Moving on throughout the week, we have Monday with 48, moving up to 52, back down to 42, and then cooling back up, going from 44 to 47 degrees on Friday. That is going to do it for us this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Vanessa Brooks.
And I'm Rachel Russell. Be sure to tune in to NewsLink Indiana tonight at 6:57 on WIPB TV. Have a great rest of your day.